Well, good morning. I want to thank you all again for coming back to catch up on Phase 4 Improvements Part 2. Like I said earlier, this video turned out to be longer than I thought, and I know watching anything probably over 15 minutes, people drop interest or maybe they don't even make it that far. So I chose to turn this into two separate videos. I just wanted everyone to get as much goodness out of it as they could, because what I've done to my rig, what I've gone through, I think will help a lot of people out there, whether you have a vehicle like mine or not. It's all what you can do with this information is up to you. How creative can you be? How imaginative can you be? So, without further ado, let's pick up where we left off on part 1. Anyway, another thing was I'd been carrying this aluminum fold-up table that was probably, I don't know, 14 by 14 top. And the only place I had it, because I can't put anything in the interior of the rig because the dogs have free roaming and things would fall and bang, and I'd have a hell of a time driving down the road, constantly pulling off and putting things back. So I put them underneath the seat here and slid it in over the 2000 watt inverter. Well, that would rattle, shake, and change its position. So the next thing I did was I bungeed it in there to the framework that keeps this thing to the ground, but I had to keep it out of the gears so it wouldn't get caught when the bed went up and down. Well, that was just a pain in the ass. So I started thinking, well, what can I do to get rid of that table, which will give me more space underneath here for storage, and certainly get it off the inverter. But I could only, I could use it when I want, and it'd be out of the way when I don't want it. And I started walking around the outside of the RV because I knew it'd be something I want to use on the outside. And I looked at the back of the sink and I thought, wow, except for that one spot where the angled pipe sticks out for the freshwater hose filler, that'd be perfect. So I went to my shed, found the piece of wood that was left over from when I had my tabletop cut out of that large birch block, and this was almost perfect for what I had in mind. So I took it back to the friend of a friend that cut my table out of the birch board, had him reshape it. I sanded it, sealed it, and stained it, and was playing with it and said, okay, I gotta have a countersink at a certain spot on this board, so when I close it, the angled tube doesn't interfere with it, and it can be as tight as possible to the back of the kitchen sink. So I had, luckily, this white cup holder I'd gotten on Amazon that has a little insert that you put in it if you just want it to hold a can, and if you pull out the insert, then it's got a little cutout and you can put a mug with a handle in there. And the bottom diameter to that matched almost perfectly the outer diameter of the water cap. And I gave that to my friends at Infinity Coach and showed them how, yeah, this is exactly the same diameter. If we just countersink at the right spot in this diameter, that'll close up tight, and then when I bring it down, I can put my cup holder in there for a more secure hold on the mug or the can, and killing two birds with one stone. Way to go. Multi-purpose. Always think multi-purpose when you're working on your RV. So that was another big win. Another thing, as you saw, and I think it was phase 3, I had put a elastic vinyl covered clothesline across the top of my cab over the back seats, and that's what I hooked my carabiners on that were holding up my curtain, privacy curtain I pulled across. Well, after taking down and putting up several times, twice a day. Uh, my big sleeping bag and my sleeping pad, that started to wear on that little cord because I was unable to screw it into the body, the framework of the vehicle, good enough to keep it taut and keep the curtain from dragging on the ground, and the dogs would get on it and everything. After that, it just caused more problems. So I talked to him about it, and I said, I can't myself take this apart and bolt it into the inside of the framework through the interior cover. And they said, okay, well, they could do that. And then they suggested, well, instead of using this clothesline type thing, you need a cable, something that can be very taut, very strong, that can put up with the abuse of having stuff rolled over it and come and go. So we did that, and they fixed it so I could tighten it if it ever loosens. And yeah, they had to take apart the interior of the coach for a couple of these things, like replacing the faucets. They'd take out the bathroom sink and stuff like that to get behind all these things to fix them and change them and upgrade them. Well, they had to do that. But at least I know that's going to stay there for a long time, and it's not going to pull the headliner or anything out and into the middle of a RV. It's there to stay. So, I'm the visionary. I come up with these ideas. I can draw them up on the computer, 3D, and all this stuff. But when it comes to actually doing them, I don't have that skill or that knowledge. So I find the craftsmen that have the skill and knowledge to take my visions and make them a reality. And I guess that's what I'm best at. Another thing that had to be replaced was I was driving down the highway in this rig. I forget where or when, but all of a sudden I heard this kaboom! What the hell? And I looked behind me, and the little plastic frame around the refrigerator, the bottom had broken somehow, and the whole sheet metal face had slipped out and hit the bottom. It was like, somebody, you take your old handsaw and go woo, 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 woo. Sounds like thunder and lightning. It was like that, only multiplied. I thought I'd been rear-ended, T-boned. I didn't know what the hell had happened, and I was in a panic. I pulled off. I looked back there and said, oh my God, it's only that. But then it was pretty sharp edges, and I was worried that the dogs are going to try to crawl under it, around it, or on top of it and get hurt. So I had to pull off, take that thing off, and then slide it somewhere to be out of the way until I got it home. So that was another thing that they had to clean off the backing of it and reapply it permanently this time to the face of the refrigerator. So some things just happen, And another thing, I got a kennel at home for my dogs that I built, and I had all the old style bowls. They were plastic, heavy duty, so they'd last, but they would always spill their doggone water bowls on our trips. I'd put them out as far as I could so they could get to them at the length of the leash, but then I forgot when they turn around, their butt's longer than where their head is, and they kick the bowls over anyway. So I forget where I saw this, but I saw this spill-proof dog bowl, and I looked it up, read about it, and holy cow, it was like some kind of a magician's trick where they pour milk into a paper cup and it disappears. I got one of these things. In fact, I think I may have got two. And I can fill that sucker up with water, put it in the coach, be driving down the road, bumpy road, whatever, and the thing will not spill water. The only thing that makes a mess is the dogs drinking out of it and dribbling and drooling around it. But that thing has been fantastic, I tell you. If you got problems with your dogs spilling their water or their food, get one of these things. They are a lifesaver. The dogs now have water on demand whenever they want it in this thing because I can fill it up and don't worry about it spilling or making a mess inside or outside. It is great. Another thing I've mentioned earlier that I'm really excited about is my son, who's a graphic artist. We sat down a while back and started working on a graphic logo for my channel. I've seen a lot of these other nomads and YouTubers that have their own stickers to promote their channel, and I guess I just wanted to have mine stand out more. And having a graphic artist for a son, I figured, well, we ought to be able to come up with something pretty darn slick. So what you see on some of my channels and on my homepage is the first rendition or the first draft of what we came up with. And while I'm on this trip, he's working to complete another draft of our newest ideas and my comments and how I want to improve the idea and work on it. So I look forward to that, because that is going to be, I think, better and different than any other decal or sticker that you see out there for any nomad or RVer. So I think it'll really set our channel as a logo apart from all the rest. So watch for it. Hopefully I'll have decals and stickers made of it. And I'd like to get one big, large white decal, vinyl decal, to put on the back window here. On the other side of the decal you can see through here. Same size. And let everyone know that, hey, this is doggone RV'N. Traveled with my girls that just passed you. So check us out. And let's see, my gosh, I told you this was long. I hope you're hanging in there. Oh yes, like I said, I had already been formulating a phase 5. I thought phase 4 was going to be it, but I keep learning and seeing more ideas that I could incorporate into my rig. And I'm thinking, geez, that'd be like really nice, because I'm playing the long game with this rig. I plan, like everything I buy, house, cars and stuff, I'm going to drive that thing until the wheels fall off, the engine freezes, and not because I didn't take care of it. Because I took care of it, it's going to outlast everything. And that's what I got this thing for, the long term. Like, I'm going to be driving this, I hope, until I keel over at the campfire, you know, and they have to come take me and it away. And my will says my son will take care of my dogs. So I've tried to think of everything. Anyway, there's 2 things that I had in phase 5, 2 of more. And I decided, you know, I don't want to wait another 6 months after this is done, or after this trip is done, or a year after this trip is done, to bring those in to the picture. So I added 2 things that I really wanted. The horn on this Dodge chassis, I think a circus clown horn in their little car was better than what Dodge put in this thing. So I said, you know, we need a couple Pia loud horns in this sucker, so people can hear me when I'm down on the LA freeway going 75 miles an hour. So another thing was that to have a swiveling passenger seat, so when the side door is open, I could swivel it around, sit there, look out into the vastness of where we're camped, and then at the end of my little kitchen sink area, it's got that little fold up extension. I could fold that up, scoot the seat forward towards it, sit there, look out through the huge opening of the sliding door, and have my little mini table in front of me to have a little breakfast or have a cup of coffee or what. Because I'm always thinking multi-purpose. And so I looked it up, found I could get a swivel plate for what, I think it was like $200. So I did that, got it, took it to my friends at Infinity Coach. Now the swivel seat, the swivel platform raised the seat up by 2 inches, which kind of surprised Kate, because she's used to just jumping up that continually. Well, this time when she tried that, it was a 2-inch higher than she was used to. So she had to jump a little harder now, but she still does, and it's fine with her. But anyway, looking at my list, Phase 5, well, there's still things on Phase 5. However, they're not necessary. They're more like little additions that I'd like to have, maybe sometime in the future. I don't know. But I think right now, my Phase 4.5, because I brought those two things in from Phase 5 to Phase 4, I think the girls and I are just going to sit tight and enjoy the big changes we've made in the past 2 years to this rig and travel and see the West. Well, that's what we're going to do. We might see the same things that you've seen from other people, but you're going to see it in a whole new light. All right? So, hopefully, you'll enjoy it.